Hi, everyone, and welcome to session 3 of The Minute Therapist. And today's topic is phonation, or how your voice is produced. So, I have a very special video to share with y'all, and you will see it step by step. All right, so here goes. All right, so now that we have this here, let me just open it up. Let me go on full screen. Okay, so in the last video, I had very clearly explained to you what are the different parts of your vocal system. So in this video, we are going to see exactly how your system is functioning so that your voice is produced. Okay, so let's begin. All right, so ideally, your larynx is situated in your throat. Okay, it's covered up by a lot of muscles. Now, this is how your larynx looks. As I explained last time, this is your thyroid cartilage. The wide ring that you see here is your cricoid cartilage. Your thyroid and cricoid cartilage is connected by a membrane, which is a very flexible tissue referred to as cricothyroid because it connects the cricoid and thyroid, called as cricothyroid membrane. The contraction and expansion of this membrane helps the thyroid cartilage to move forward and backward. When it moves forward, your vocal folds stretch, you produce a higher pitch. When it moves backward, your vocal folds come back to the regular size and you produce a lower pitch. Okay, you'll see that when we go ahead. Now, can you see there's a ring structure, which is like a pipe? Now, this is your trachea. This goes down further and forms what we call as your lungs. So basically, all the air that is collected within your lungs comes through this pipe out and sets your vocal fold into vibration. So let's see that in detail. So ideally, that's your trachea, like I explained. So your cricoid cartilage and your thyroid cartilage. This V-shaped dip that you see, this point exactly is what we refer to as the Adam's apple or the thyroid notch. So can you see how the cricothyroid membrane moves forward and backward? All right. Now see, when the cricothyroid membrane moves forward and backward, these are your vocal folds here that are connected to what is referred to as your arytenoid cartilage, because of which your vocal folds stretch when the thyroid notch dips forward, and then they come back to a relaxed position when your thyroid notch comes backward, okay? All right, so your arytenoid cartilage is here, okay? And the vocal cords are connected to the arytenoid cartilage's process. Now, this process is referred to as vocal process because it connects the vocalis muscle, which is nothing but your vocal cords, okay? And on top of your arytenoid, you have two horn-shaped structures, which is your your corniculate cartilage. All right, there you go. So these are your arytenoid. This is your thyroid. This is your vocal ligament, okay? Or your vocal cords, basically. So you have muscles. I explained it to you the last time. There are a couple of muscles that are responsible for opening and closing your vocal folds. So this is your lateral cricoarytenoid muscles. Now the contraction and expansion of these muscles helps in the opening and closing of the vocal folds. So let's watch that very carefully. You see that? So what's basically happening is, if we refer to this end as the vocal process of the arytenoid cartilage, this end, it looks like a triangle basically. So your arytenoid cartilage is like a triangle, one end here, and one end up here. So one end is connected to the vocal cords, which is referred to as the vocal process. The other end is connected to several muscles which help in the opening and closing of the vocal folds. This is referred to as the muscular process. All right, and the other end on top is where your corniculate cartilage actually sit. So you see that? That was a beautiful moment. Let's just take a moment to appreciate that. Let's just go back. Sorry. All right. Let's just go here. All right. So let's watch this again. And you'll actually see how beautifully your lateral cricoid are moving. So your muscular process gets pulled out. Now we're going to understand this better. Now, what we saw was just a representation. What we are looking at now is how your system looks from the inside. So this, my dear friends, is your epiglottis. This is your thyroid cartilage, okay? And this is how your vocal fold looks as a muscle, okay? So your cricoid cartilage is down here, all right? Now what we're gonna look at is, can you see a fog-like representation? This is nothing but the air that causes your vocal folds to vibrate. So when your vocal fold vibrates, the air that is collected from down in the lungs gets released, and that's how you basically produce speech. So now let me explain to you how this happens. Now, basically, the pressure of the air which is below your vocal folds is referred to as subglottal pressure. The air pressure at the level of the vocal folds is referred to as or called as glottal pressure, and the air pressure above is called supraglottic. Okay, so what is most important for us is the pressure level here below the vocal folds should be more than the pressure level above the vocal folds. It is only when this pressure below the vocal folds or the subglottal pressure is higher than the supraglottic pressure, that is when your vocal folds can be set into vibration, because they are closed very tightly, and that air pressure built below is what is helping it move. That is why it is very important that we train our breathing. If we don't train our breath system in the right way, that's why most of the times when we sing, we generally feel we are out of breath or it's not sufficient, because we are not breathing appropriately for the kind of vocal output we need. All right. So please keep in mind your vocal folds, if they have to move and if they have to support for a particular song, or even if you have to speak, you need to breathe well. If you are not breathing adequately, or if your breathing pattern is wrong, or if you haven't practiced your breathing exercises, your respiratory support is not sufficient for your vocal folds to move. All right, let's make that very clear. So when you breathe in, the air that is collected within your lungs, it reverts back and comes out. What it basically does, it builds and builds and builds. It builds at such a level that it will be higher than the force that is put to hold your vocal folds together. When that pressure below your vocal folds is higher than the pressure exerted by your vocal folds to remain closed, that is when it sets it into vibration and that release of air happens. Okay, so let's watch it again. So it builds, 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 and when it gets high enough, it releases. If you notice, the bottom part of your vocal folds open first, and then it is the top part. Can you see that? And then the bottom joins again, and the top. Okay, so it's a very beautiful mechanism. So in the previous video, what I showed you, the beautiful movement, wave-like movement of your vocal folds that you're seeing, this is nothing but the same movement. So every time a puff of air goes out, you're actually talking or singing on that puff of air. All right, let's look at that again and see how beautifully the chords are moving from the bottom to the top, and again the bottom to the top, again bottom to the top, and then the bottom joins and then the top. So that is exactly how your voice is produced, or what we refer to as vocal therapists, we call it phonation. I hope you enjoyed this class. Please go through this and the previous video, and I will see you soon at the live. Take care and have fun.